JAH-ACE. Brooklyn. Freaking out great. JAH-ACE. We need a little bit of hands. The boy don't chat tough when the key knock. Listen when I hear that. With a double action, a rap pump action. Shot we drive through face like a me back. So don't chat tough when the key knock. Listen when I hear that. With a double action, a rap pump action. Shot we drive through face like a me back. We ever depend the paper chase, but no in a haste. Warriors with no fit face. I know everywhere me I go show me face. But please, don't make me have to show me brave. Money me a praise, so me a behave. So no make me have to beat it like one of the slave. Right now me feeling high, man. Thou shall not fuck with I, man. Boy don't chat tough when the key knock. Listen when I hear that. With a double action, a rap pump action. Shot we drive through face like a me back. So don't chat tough when the key knock. Listen when I hear that. With a double action, a rap pump action. Shot we drive through face like a me back. Me a the realist when them hear about. Brain fly like airport. Bird a bring storm, get a raincoat. Bullets a fly like birds when they stay cold. Bird a breeze cock, no deep throat. I just me a fi reload. Clip long like the road. Shoot you a Spain beer and land out a seafood.
The views and opinions expressed by guests on this platform do not reflect the views and opinions of JAH-ACE TV. JAH-ACE TV isn't here to glorify violence, get anyone in trouble, or start anything negative. It's all entertainment and enlightenment content. Enjoy, and thanks for watching.
Salute, love. You already know who it is, JAH-ACE from JAH-ACE TV. For those that's not subscribed to the channel, go subscribe to the channel right now. Share the content with your peoples and let the people know about JAH-ACE TV, man. If you don't know about JAH-ACE TV, you're late, man. You need to get on board. You know what I mean? Support the channel if you're looking for good content. Yes, everybody know what's going on with the whole Pistol Pete situation. You know, it's ongoing. A lot of people has spoken about it. A lot of people don't like what he said, and a lot of people don't like the things that he be doing. But I want to focus in on Fat Joe and how he's played his role in the racism and how he's also played a role in snaking his own people. Look at what he did to Charlie Rock LD. For those that don't know about Charlie Rock LD, Charlie Rock LD was a real street dude that was down with Terror Squad, was in and out of prison a lot, you know, and Fat Joe did him dirty, you know, and he really did him dirty because Charlie Rock LD had fell victim to using drugs in prison or whatever case may be. So, you know, more or less, because somebody you know or you close to use drugs, you don't turn your back on them. But that's what he did to Charlie Rock LD. There's nobody that was representing Fat Joe and Terror Squad like Charlie Rock LD. Everywhere he went, he wore that TS flag as a badge of honor. So we're going to get into, you know, how Fat Joe treated Charlie Rock LD and how if he could do that to Charlie Rock LD, he could do that to anybody. Look at what he did to Cuban Links. Look at what, let's not forget, him and Papoose got into it over Fat Joe snaking Remy Ma. Yeah, they was able to work it out years later, but let's not forget, you know, his snake behavior. You know what I'm saying? So he's one of them people that when the Latins got the, you know, when they got motion, he gonna jump on their bandwagon, and when the blacks got motion, he gonna jump on their bandwagon. You know,
95% of the beef on the island was over the jack, because the jack was free. You know what I mean? Money had came into the dorm talking about what's up with the slide time. You know, paying that hardcore gangster shit. Yo, dog, what's up with the phone? You know what I mean? Long story short, I ate his food right quick. Whoop! Sent him about 3 days later, his cousin come into the dorm. I ain't know it's the nigga's cousin. The nigga called me, I slept on him, you know what I mean? I know it's the nigga's cousin. I'm over here reaching for some motherfucking cookies and milk. The coward nigga got me from the back, you know what I mean? The nigga ripped the shit out of me from the bottom of my chin, boom. All the way to the back of the neck. You know what I mean? I pull out the ice pick, grab the nigga by the jeans, and start blazing. Boom, boom, start blazing the nigga.
Charlie Rock LD represented the Terror Squad, you know what I mean, to the fullest. He gave them that street credibility, because he was one, you know, he was one of the TS dudes that was really outside, you know. He was the one going in and out of jail, you know, and doing his thing, man. And I guess when he could be used by Fat Joe, when his credibility was good, you know, Fat Joe wouldn't stop calling out his name. If you listen to a lot of Fat Joe music, he always said Charlie Rock LD name, you know what I'm saying? Because that was a name that had credibility or whatever. People in the Bronx knew him, people in jails knew him, people in prisons knew him, you know. But all that changed once Charlie Rock LD ended up going to prison and he got hooked on drugs and all that and started messing around with that heroin, you know. And he needed help, man. And his time of need, when he needed help, Fat Joe didn't help him. He had the resources, he had the money. He could have put Charlie Rock LD into a rehab to get the help that he needed. But what he did was he ridiculed him and he stopped, you know, having any kind of connection with him. He didn't really want to communicate with him more. He felt like embarrassed that Charlie Rock LD got hooked on drugs, you know what I'm saying? And this is well documented, you know, by not just Charlie Rock LD, but also his family members. Big Pun and Charlie Rock LD, they was the ones that was in Terror Squad that had the names. And I know Big Pun is rolling over in his grave right now because he would have never thought that Joe would do what he did, you know what I'm saying? Not taking care of his family, going at it with his wife, you know, publicly and things of that nature. You know, you never know who your real comrade is until that time come for them to show when they really your brother, you know what I'm saying? So Fat Joe definitely showed Big Pun his true colors, but you know, it's sad that Big Pun didn't get to see that Fat Joe was never really his brother, you know what I'm saying? He just used him and was able to benefit off him. You know, it's just a sad overall story, man. And Fat Joe single-handedly destroyed Terror Squad, man. Just look at what happened to Terror Squad and look at what happened to Big Pun proteges once Pun died. You know, they all got flipped on or snaked by Fat Joe. You know, he got a bad track record. It's either he's capping, lying, or doing some snake shit.
Had 2 projects out and he did well. He sold a couple of 100,000, but he didn't go gold. He didn't go platinum. Pun was that nigga. Pun, the expectations, Pun was for Pun to go at least gold. This is what Joe and everybody was expecting. Like, that was their highest expectation, of Pun to go at least gold. So when the dude came out double platinum at the gate, it was something phenomenal. Like, we wasn't ready for no shit like that. You know what I mean? That not only did Joe make millions and millions of dollars, but that opened up a lot of doors for him as far as to be an executive. Because after Pun blew, that's when Atlantic stepped to Joe and invested $10 million in a label imprint for Terror Squad. You know what I mean? So, like I said, not only did Pun make Joe millions of dollars, he put him on the map as far as an executive and a label owner. So Pun was that dude, man.
Right. What do you feel about later? Like, we talked to Big Pun's widow, Liza, and her attorney. They were pretty much trying to say, if you have any knowledge, if you don't, you have to speak on it. You know, that Fat Joe, you know, pretty much was holding money or stole money from Pun. Have you heard those allegations over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I definitely heard the allegations, man. I was hurt. I was disgusted. You know, like, I actually heard on the radio, Joe and me already had a fallout. When I heard him on the radio, Hot 97, Liza was on there talking about that she was in a shelter and Joe hasn't given her money in over 10 years. And this dude, Joe, man, I can't believe the shit he did. He actually went on the radio, spoke, I believe it was with Funk Flex or Angie or one of them niggas. and straight told Liza live on the radio, "Ma, what you need to do is find a job." Like, how you gonna tell Punch wife and shit like that? This nigga's crazy, man. I don't even like to talk about that, man. You know, it's just totally disgusting. You know what I mean?
It breaks my heart. I got one dude that I was cool with that's a dope fiend that I went to visit him 16 years in jail. 16 years when he came home. I threw him a party. I bought him a Hummer. I gave him an apartment. This guy's talking about me because he's not with us no more. Because if you sniff dope, you cannot be next to Fat Joe. It's disgusting. But you tell me whatever rapper goes visit somebody 16 years in snowstorms.
He keeps saying that he did 16 years with me. Who else is going to do 16 years with you? Snowstorms and all that. Where does 16 years come from? Everybody know I copped out to a 10 or 20 and I did 13 years and 4 months. So where does the 16 years come from? You supposedly did all that time with me and you keep saying 16 years. Where does 16 years come from? Little Joey, we know you. You stay capping. Yes, I was messing with the dog food. That's about the only thing he wasn't capping on. For 8 months. It was what it was, my man. However, peep game. Instead of being there for me like I was for you and helping me, putting me in a program, whatever, and all that, what do? You turn your back on me. That's foul. You don't do that. I mean, I fell victim. It happens, it happens. It's not an excuse. I'm not saying it's an excuse. I was wrong. All of a sudden today, you want to come out with a live stream on IG or wherever the hell you was at. I know, over them 3, you lying, nigga. You know what I mean? You're getting a taste of your own medicine. The people have spoken. We know you are a liar. We know you stay capping. Fat Joe, your character is in question. Right now, you up there with Africa Bambaataa. I don't know who's worse, Africa Bambaataa or Fat Joe, as far as character-wise. You know what I mean? The jury is still out. I was nothing but loyal to him. I was a good friend. We shared a brotherhood. I banged out for you 1,000 times, and you straight betrayed me. You turned your back on me. You know? And again, I got 1,000 stories I can't even talk about. Like I told you last week. If somebody's your brother, your friend, you know, and they fall on her, you don't turn your back on them, yo. You don't turn your back on them. Again, instead of being there for me like I was for you, you straight turn your back on your man. So it's safe to say that you're not a good friend, my man. You've never been a good friend. You use people for whatever you could use them for, and when they no longer benefit you, you straight kick them to the curb. This is who you is, my man. This is who you is. I never did him dirty. I never stole from him. I never lied to him. I always had his back. Even when I felt he was wrong, I still banged out for him. You know what I mean? Because your brother's your brother. Whether wrong or right, that's your brother.
If you ask about me this, I look on you, the Bronx Legend, you ain't got no teeth, bro. I went through a rough time. I told you that. And for no reason. They took my money. I had to start brand new. You know how many people I saw lose their money, kill themselves, or let that shit beat them up? It's one thing to have had money, ate good, bought good, and then you lose it all. But to remain optimistic, to come back stronger than ever. I never made excuses in my life. I dealt with the hand that was dealt to me. You think I would sit around 20 years later talking about a guy who didn't give me a chance 25 years ago or 23 years? Bro, I'm living right now, today. I'm living for now. I don't got time to think about the guy who did me dirty 20 years ago, 30 years. What are you doing?
Bless up, JAH-ACE.
Peace and love, JAH-ACE. Big up Van der Veer, Flatbush.
And y'all check out JAH-ACE's podcast. He has a platform too, and he's really good. JAH-ACE TV. Y'all check that out.
Guest in the house. It is Charlie Rock LD's sister. First, I want to say my deepest condolences for your loss. I know there are a lot of different narratives out there about his death. You've gotten the autopsy back. Can you share the results with us?
He had a massive heart attack. It was due to his high cholesterol. He was like a ticking time bomb where his arteries were closing and it didn't pump enough blood to the heart. He died of a massive heart attack.
Okay, and so there were no traces of any drugs found in his system?
No, none whatsoever, none.
So when you hear people say, oh, he died because he was a dope fiend, he must have relapsed or those type of things, can you share like those emotions that you feel when you hear that?
Okay, I feel hurt because he's been clean for many years. And that was one of the promises that he made to me, to stay clean. And we are 3 sisters total, and I was the closest to him. I was his everything. And no, his only bad habit was smoking and coffee. That was it.
Right, we know that Charlie definitely loved his putelo and smoking, of course. And those two things, they definitely had an effect on his health as well that led to his heart attack?
Yes, he was a chronic diabetic. He was taking insulin, but he never checked his blood. I don't know why would you take insulin if you don't check your blood.
Okay, and he was living far away from you, so you could only do so much, right? Especially because Charlie, is his own person, and he was supposed to be taking care of himself.
And I did not want him to come back to New York, and that was the second promise he made to me. So I did all the visiting.
And so many people have tried to tarnish Charlie's name, from saying that he was still getting high and all these things like that. From what you know, Charlie was living with Prosperity House and he was still clean. I know Karen Tyson said that he had been clean for 5 years.
Yeah, it's been longer than that.
After Charlie had passed away, I'm not sure if you are aware, but Joe had posted something to his page that a lot of people believed were to be an attack on Charlie in a way. He had posted a picture of himself saying, God don't like ugly. Now, when you saw that picture, was your immediate reaction the same, that you thought that he was talking about Charlie?
Of course he was, but it's okay. Because he's right. God doesn't like ugly. He's not too pretty, not too good on pretty either. And it's okay.
I think that for a lot of people, even though they knew that Charlie and Joe were not getting along towards the end of his life, or for many years, they did not expect that he would stoop to that level to do that.
Never. After doing so many years in prison, and instead of being handled him more carefully, he was living with me. Instead of keeping him clean, he was given a gun and a job, and of course he went back to drugs. Yes, he did. Instead of being watched, his was a gun, a truck, an old truck, and a gun.
Wait, who did this?
I don't know what.
Who gave him the gun?
The gun, a truck. Okay, that's what he was giving.
This was, you said that when he was living with you, that he was given this?
After the next day that he came out of prison after doing X amount of years, yes. That was his gift.
That was his gift from who?
Okay. From Jose, or whatever they call him.
And I believe you're talking about Joe. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, I am. I don't know why I have to act so. Yes, I am the only one. Jocelyn Romero is the only one that was able to control Charlie. Charlie was more like a bodyguard. He used him.
Right.
Like I said, who does 18 years in prison and comes out and the next day you have a gun and you have him collecting money? Who does that? Who does that?
In the last years of your brother's life, he was still very brokenhearted over his relationship with Joe.
Yes,
I think that he made it very clear that he looked at Joe as a brother, like he genuinely loved him.
And he did.
And he did. And did you guys ever have any conversations about how he felt about Joe?
I did. And I said to him, you know what? Let it go. And then I asked him when he wrote the book, I said, if he comes to you, he goes, you know what? All this is, if Joe comes to me, I love him. I love him unconditionally. He did love Joe. Even to the end, he loved Joe.
Reason why Fat Joe turned on Cuban.
We're gonna go over some of the rumors that he started. The first nasty rumor was that the homie COK tried to push up on Big Pun's wife. Do y'all remember that? I don't know if y'all remember that. But the hustle said that his excuse for flipping on COK and getting his face cut was because he tried to push up on Pun's wife. Lying to the pop dog, man. Again, covering up the facts. Oh, how about when he said he brought the homie Cuban Link a house? The house, I said he brought Cuban Link a house. Ain't that crazy? Cuban Link blazed him. He said he bought Cuban Link a house. He also had the nuts to say that he gave everybody in Terror Squad, the rappers, $500,000. He said he gave Remy, Armageddon, Prospect, Cuban Link, Tony Sunshine. He gave them each $500,000 apiece. Is this man the Cap King or what? Little Joey, you wildin', my man. You wild.
He prided himself in being a DLC baby. He always said that. He started saying that more and more because I think he just wanted to, like, he accepts his truth. He accepts his past, and he definitely wanted to relate to the kids the meaning of what he meant. And I think what the meaning was is, yeah, he was proud to be that because that was his reality. He had to embrace that. He has to take that in and say, yeah, this is where I come from. Now be proud of it, but realize that this right here is what made me work harder for me to become this one at the end. To be this successful. And that's what I think he was looking at. He was looking at the end game was going to be where he was successful. And, make it a big business of helping the community with the knowledge he gained. And for people to really be surprised, like, yo, you could, and be an inspiration to those that, that's going through the same thing. If I came from here and I'm really the poster boy for this, you can make it too. And I made it, you can make it too. Act such a cold individual with him, at the end. I think that was foul for somebody that spent, almost a lifetime with somebody. And even if they had a disagreement at the end, and, because I know exactly what Joe does when, when he betrays you. I know exactly how it looks. I know how the lies he say. So I understood that he was doing. Joe does that. He's the same with everybody. And it must be a great plan. He got a fucking formula for this. Because, it seems to be working. And I think that's the fame and the connections that he made over the years and the people he know that, he shields himself behind that. That's the difference. He always, like with us, he chooses, like, I was under him. I was just, because he was the one that gave me the deal. He's got power over the say on me with the labels. With Charlie, he brought Charlie into the game. So, when he decided to shit on Charlie, of course, though Charlie earned his respect and he was scared of him, some niggas, and they respected him. The money guy, Joe, if he don't like you, the narrative is that the people in the industry are gonna say, okay, Charlie Rock is out of here. Then
a while ago, 10 toes down.
After a while, at the end
was letting everybody
provoking
know
Charlie because he was lying on
how
them.
Fat
He
Joe
was using the whole, you know what I'm
was
saying?
really getting down,
And when
how
he
he
said
was
that
capping,
last shit
how he
about,
was
yo,
always lying, and how he was mistreating and
lose
violating
your
Charlie
yalla, you
Rock
get popped
LD.
off in your yalla
Because 10
of
Toes
me.
Down
You got that because, you know,
did interviews
the three bundles
with
you
Charlie
own.
Rock LD. They knew each other
If that
personally.
wasn't true,
So he kind of knew
I'm putting myself
some of
in
the stuff
Charlie's
that a
situation.
lot of people didn't know.
This is
And
my
some
man.
of the inside
He
stuff
knows
that
I
a
did
lot of
this out
people
of
didn't
honor
know
for him
that
because I
Charlie
love
Rock
him.
LD shared
And,
with
you
him.
know, that story
You see what I'm
is
saying?
close to
So
my
we're
heart
going to get
because
into some of the stuff
that's
that
like a shield. Even if you lost your eyes,
10
that's a shield
Toes
of
had to
fucking honor
say
you stand on. I did that for my
about the
brother.
whole
Just like I
Charlie
used to
Rock
think for,
LD and Fat Joe
like when I talk
situation.
about like Tony Sunshine,
Salute.
back in before all of this, I used to say that shit though. What? That's my nigga. I'll do that shit for my nigga any day.
This.
You wildin'. How you gonna say some shit like that?
Yeah, that's Charlie Rock. That's Charlie Rock LD. That's my man, Charlie Rock. Yo, you want to know the crazy thing with Charlie Rock LD, man? Charlie Rock ain't I mean, everybody lies, but Charlie Rock ain't no liar. Like what he said about as far as like the Fat Joe and all that. He not lying, bro. He gave me the whole rundown. Now, this is the crazy thing. Charlie Rock LD gave me the story between him and Fat Joe, right? Cuban Links gave me his story. They don't know each other. I'm not telling them I talked to him because I knew Charlie Rock already and I heard his story. When I heard Cuban Links, they got the same exact story about Joe.
You got Charlie's story. What year did he tell you the experience with Joe? Would you say?
When he started his YouTube channel. Like before.
So that was like a couple years ago?
Yeah, so before he started it, I used to be telling him like, yo, man, why you don't do the YouTube joint? Why you don't do the Fat Joe joint? Tell your story, this and that. Yo, but what I'm gonna say? I don't know what to say. I said, man, just tell him the story about what happened. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just tell him about your life. And, yeah, I don't want to be on no negative shit. I want to be on some positive. I want to tell him about my, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, all right, bro. Tell him this and that. I used to always help him. He used to, yo, Charlie. I got recordings with me and Charlie Rock LD. He used to always call me. I'd be like, yo, I'm recording you, motherfucker. He'd be like, I don't care, bro. Just help me out. Charlie Rock would always call me. He'd be like, yo, I just hit 10,000 on this, man. You got to go watch it. I did this interview. This shit is crazy. But he used to tell me the stories about Fat Joe. Yo, he never brought me a car. He like, yo, that motherfucker talk about he bought me a car, got me a place to live, this and that. He lying. He's lying, bro. I'm like, yeah, so what happened, Charlie? Charlie, tell me the truth. Like, yo, it was a time I did start getting high. He ain't lie about that. I was getting high. He said, but I still was Charlie Rock. I still was me. But he told me, you're going to have to go away and get yourself together for a year. When you come back, you're going to have to do, yo. I said, nah, yeah. He said, yo, he used to take them out places. He said, Joe never gives you money. He pays for whatever. He's not going to give you the money. He's going to pay for it himself. He's not going to, and my thing is this, right? When it comes to Fat Joe, I don't fault Fat Joe for whatever he said. For whatever he did, because you accepted that. And I'm like, yo, Charlie Rock, whatever Joe did, and you gangster, he ain't near tough as you. You the gangster, right? Yeah. You accepted that shit. So you really was a sucker. Yeah, bro, yeah, you right, Chef, you right. I can't argue that, you right. Yeah, so whatever Joe did, but me and Cuban Links had a whole argument behind that. Links wasn't trying to hear that. What are you talking about, bro?
We gonna get into that.
Can't say God don't like ugly because you going early or late or whatever time you want to call your demise. You can't say God don't like so God took Charlie Rock because he was saying some ugly stuff about you. Get the beat it. I ain't going for that. Get out of here. Hell no. God gonna take him to clear Joe because he's such a holy man and God, he's one of God's personal servants. Okay. Let them see what happened after he died and how people turned on him and his people he called twin and my brother, how it really wasn't there for them. Because I can't say that Fat Joe was there for him and he gave everything to his wife and all that, because his son is out here. You don't see no support with the son. You don't see Fat Joe there. You don't see none of that. Like, if that was the case, everything would have been in line, would have been in order. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't. So that does show you that everything Fat Joe is not authentic. Though he ain't just fucking holier than thou, perfect person. Fat Joe from the streets, he lie. He don't tell the truth. He want to be seen in the light as a good guy, as a family man, as a guy who made it out the hood, who's helping everybody in the world. But nah, that's not the case, man. I don't think that's the case.
JAH-ACE TV. He keep dope interviews. He did the joint with Batman. That joint was fire.
The streets of East Flatbush is where my story unfolds, where we were taught to follow codes as early as 10 years old, the age where I first touched a gun and let it unload, and the power of that lead shower took control of my soul. My goals were jewelry, cars, and clothes, and whether it was love for my bros or war with my foes, I always stood 10 toes. I rose through the ranks of Vanderveer and East 31st. There's legends from my turf, but my reputation was worse. Speaking dirt on my name was blasphemous. I gave no passes and whipped a lot of asses from Walt Whitman to Erasmus. I came from a good family, but that couldn't stop the streets of law. Cause once I got a taste of money and power, all I wanted was more. From Spofford to C-74, I was in and out of jail. Didn't learn from the slaps on the wrist, the probation and the bail. When it came to being gangster, I felt the best be me. My brother Psycho, Sheen, and Face, we were STP. But that life cost me the death of my peers. It cost my family tears and ended up costing me 17 years. But in prison, I traded the posse for Haile Selassie and underwent a transformation of my mind, soul, and body. I became a shooter for the Lion of Judah. The old Ace was R.I.P. and replaced with the Rastafari me. Gave me a better view on life and helped mold me and grow me. And now I'm out here trying to show the youth a better way than my OGs showed me. Trying to make a difference and drop jewels in every convo. Side by side with my brethren's 3D, Super and Nalo. Jimbo just came home from doing 25. Glad he was able to survive, not only physically, but mentally alive. Almighty Jah continue to bless my brothers and I with thy grace freely. And everybody tune in to JAH-ACE TV.
Brooklyn, freaking out great. JAH-ACE. The boy don't chat tough when the key knock. Listen when I hear that. With a double action, a rap pump action. Shot the drive through face like a me back. So don't chat tough when the key knock. Listen when I hear that. With a double action, a rap pump action. Shot with drive through face like a me back. We ever depend the paper chase, but no in a haste. Warriors with no fi pace. I know everywhere me I go show me face. But please, don't make me have to show me brave. Money me a pray, so me a behave. So don't make me have to beat it like one of the slave. Right now me feeling high, man. Thou shall not fuck with I, man. Boy don't chat tough when the key knock. Listen when I hear that. With a double action, a rap pump action. Shot the drive through face like a me back. So don't chat tough when the key knock. Listen when I hear that. With a double action, a rap pump action. Shot with drive through face like a me back. Me had the realist when them hear about. Brain fly like airport. Bird a bring storm, get a raincoat. Bullets a fly like birds when they stay cold. Bird a breeze cock, no deep throat. I just me a fi reload. Clip long like the road shoot. You a spin beer and land out a seafood.